That time I got Reincarnated as a slime is always a series that has so much world building and details for the characters, and the Demon Lords have some of the most extensive, so in today's video, I wanted to take a look at the Beast Master Carrion to learn more about his origins, why he stepped down from the position along with his powers and abilities as well. I will also be talking about the Lycanthropes in general, along with the background for the Beast Kingdom Eurazania. As usual, this video will contain spoilers for Carrion's character and the story of Tensura, so here's a warning just in case. But if you enjoyed the video, feel free to give it a like and maybe consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this in the future. Now then, before we talk about Carrion himself, let's briefly explore the Lycanthrope race and what they are. Well, to explain, when the Star King Dragon Milim Nava created the current Tensura world, it was utterly devoid of life, so he created the being known as Twilight Valentine, tasking him with the mission to populate the world, creating various progenitor races and later the Lycanthropes, made through the hybridization between humans and magical beasts. It was for this reason the Lycanthrope race was so diverse, being broadly classified into 7 groups based on the animal characteristics they take after, such as the canine, feline, primate, ursidae, serpentine, avian, and large types. Also, because the Lycanthropes were hybrids, they had the ability to take on the characteristics of their respective species, and the degree of their transformation can vary through the use of 2 distinct intrinsic skills. The first is called bestialization. This allows the user to take on animalistic features, but still retaining much of their humanoid figure. In this form, their regenerative capabilities are improved while having increased physical strength and heightened senses as well. The second skill is called Beast Transformation, and users who basically fully turn into a magical beast while still retaining all their intelligence. This provides the greatest improvements when compared to bestialization. But having explained that, Lycanthropes eventually started to widely reproduce, and many would settle around the area located southwest of the Great Jura Forest. Furthermore, at some point in time, the Lycanthropes founded the Beast Kingdom Eurazania, and much like the Jura Temples Federation, it was made up of multiple Lycanthrope species that became vassalized into the nation. Now, looking at the Beast Kingdom, it's a nation that believed in the idea of might makes right, and this was likely a result of the Lycanthropes' animalistic nature being translated over to how they govern their new nation, and it was because of this belief that Lycanthropes were quite classist, treating weaker Lycanthropes such as kobolds or rabbit folks as low-class citizens or slaves. They were even prohibited from entering the capital as well. But for stronger Lycanthropes, they are often treated as elites or high-class citizens and given various kinds of benefits. That said, the Beast Kingdom was mainly an agrarian society, renowned for their fertile lands, agricultural knowledge, high-quality crops, and cultivated fruits. However, because of this, there wasn't much development around the nation, with a majority of the population living in small villages or plantations. Only the capital city Laura was significantly more extravagant from the rest of the land, because all their taxes will only be concentrated in the capital, but surprisingly, the people of the Beast Kingdom don't seem too opposed to this arrangement. Also, the concept of currency doesn't exist within the Beast Kingdom. They mainly rely on the barter system to exchange goods and services, although they do occasionally make use of gold when dealing with foreign nations. And gold was quite plentiful in the nation, but Lycanthropes don't exactly value it, instead using it only for ornamental or decoration purposes. But aside from agriculture, Eurazania was also known for its military might, being considered a superpower that can rival even the Kingdom of Ingratia and Holy Empire Lubalius. Their military was led by a king, also known as the Beast Master, and they'll almost always choose the strongest to take on this title, but there were cases where intellect or character was chosen over strength. As for the military itself, during times of peace, they maintained a relatively small army averaging around 100,000. And if they needed more manpower, at least half of the existing population within the capital can be considered as warriors, with a healthy adult Lycanthrope possessing a threat level of at least A- when using their full power. The Beastmasters Brigade was the strongest military organization in the Beast Kingdom, all possessing threat levels that range from A to the Special A. Furthermore, they are led and trained by the 3 Biscuiteers, individuals who hold power second only to the Beastmaster. But the title of Biscuiteer isn't permanent, meaning that any Lycanthropes can actually challenge the current title holders, and if they win, they'll replace them as a new member. In any case, it was unknown how long the Beast Kingdom has been established, but around more than 500 years ago, Carrion was declared as the new Beastmaster. However, before he took the throne, he and the Biscuiteers of the time actually led the rebellion against Gladium, his half-brother. That's because when his father chose Carrion as the successor, Gladium became jealous, so he killed the former Beastmaster to steal the throne for himself. Luckily, Carrion defeated Gladium to retake the throne, and he'll banish Gladium, although he does return in the distant future. That was essentially how Carrion became the Beast Master of Eurazania, and during his initial reign, he would participate in the Great Tema War, and coming out from the war victorious, he earned the recognition of the Demon Lords Kazarian and Milim, so they recommended Carrion to join the Demon Lord Council. His admission was approved, and Carrion would continue to rule over his Beast Kingdom as a Demon Lord, but he was also constantly finding ways to increase his own powers and influence to bridge the gap between himself and the older Demon Lords. And it was because of his active measures that he, along with his fellow 3rd generation Demon Lords, Claymore and Frey, became the most well-known among the 10 great Demon Lords. Also, Carrion was the one that helped Kazarian to get Claymore into the Demon Lord Council. That's why Carrion often worked with Claymore to improve their own standings within the council, and later he would join in Claymore's scheme to create a new Demon Lord candidate they could control. But as we all know, the Orc disaster was defeated by removed Tempest, and intrigued by the mysterious individual, Carrion sent Phobio, one of his Biscuiteers, to investigate the matter. However, Carrion soon discovered that Phobio was turned into Charybdis, but seeing that Rimuru managed to stop and save Phobio, Carrion apologized and thanked him. He even offered compensation, so Rimuru requested for a non-aggression treaty, which Carrion accepted, and this would mark the beginning of the diplomatic relations between the Beast Kingdom Eurazania and the Jura Tempest Federation. For example, the Beast Kingdom would export their cultivated fruits to Tempest in exchange for the alcohol they produce, and sending Lycanthropes to learn about the technological advancements of Tempest. Also, when Tempest sent Benimaru and Rigor to Eurazania, Carrion was challenged by Benimaru, but Carrion easily defeated him, and surprisingly, they would eventually become quite good friends in the future. Now, during the Demon Lord Awakening arc, Eurazania was attacked by Milim, who was supposedly being controlled by Claymore, and Carrion, knowing the strength of the Destroyer, he ordered Albus to evacuate their people to Tempest, with only Sophia and Phobio staying behind. Carrion finally faced Milim in battle, but even with his legendary great White Tiger Azure Dragon Halberd, none of his attacks could even leave a scratch on her. Thus, Carrion would use his unique skill Royal Beast, an evolved version of the intrinsic skill Beast Transform, which allows him to take on a Chimera-like form made up of all the other Lycanthrope species. In this form, he was also clad in legendary great equipment. He would then use his strongest move, Beast Roar, to fire a powerful particle cannon attack, but it was ultimately ineffective. And having exhausted almost all his energy, he was filled with despair after seeing Milim's Dragon Nova destroy the capital of Eurazania, and he was captured by Frey. But continuing on, Carrion was still alive and was actually working with Milim and Frey to expose Claymore's deceptions during Walpurgis. And for the majority of Walpurgis, he stayed in the background, but he does eventually reveal himself when Rimuru was fighting Claymore. After Claymore was defeated, Carrion realized that he was unworthy to call himself a Demon Lord because of the vast differences in his strength, so he decided to step down, choosing to become Milim's subordinate instead, and Frey would join his decision as well. With that, Walpurgis concluded, and even though Eurazania was now under Milim's control, the nation was still managed by Carrion, and needing to rebuild his domain, Rimuru provided assistance in the reconstruction. Also, the new capital of Milim's territory will be moved to the ruins of the Beast Kingdom, and a new Sky Castle will be constructed as well. Not much happened afterwards, although when Rimuru organized the Tempest Founders Festival, Milim along with Carrion, Frey and Midley were invited as dignitaries. And during the Tempest tournament, Carrion was ordered by Milim to participate, so he disguised himself as a lion mask. He would then fight Gao in the tournament and easily defeated him without even needing to use his skills. He later faced Gopta and Ranga, which was supposed to be an easy match, but they were fighting dirty, so Carrion ultimately lost because he was disqualified. Then Carrion pretty much resumed his usual routine after the Founders Festival, and even though it wasn't explicitly mentioned, it's likely during his time spent with Frey that he developed feelings for her, because later in the story, he did declare his love for her. Anyways, when the Eastern Empire declared war on Tempest, Carrion would send Albus along with a force consisting of 20,000 men as reinforcements. Although Carrion later did participate in the second half of the war when Milim ordered him to help Rimuru's forces fight the Magic Beast division of the Eastern Empire, and Carrion was actually sent into battle because Milim knew that he wanted to become stronger, so she had hoped that the experience would trigger an evolution. Now regarding the battle, Carrion would face the leader of the Magic Beast division, his half-brother Gladium, but unlike their battle centuries ago, this time Carrion was being overwhelmed by him. That's because after joining the Empire, Gladium was genetically modified to increase his strength, and he was even given the White Tiger Claw, a mythical great weapon which greatly outclassed Carrion's own legendary great equipment. But Carrion was quite lucky during the fight because Gladium had went into evolutionary sleep, so taking advantage of the situation, Carrion killed him with Beast Roar. Furthermore, as a result, the souls that were supposed to be used by Gladium for evolution was now transferred over to Carrion, so he would enter evolutionary sleep as well, but Gabriel, with help from Sophia and Frey's subordinates, were able to protect him. After the Magic Beast division was defeated, Testarossa transported Carrion to safety, and having finished his awakening into a true Demon Lord, Carrion will evolve from a Lycanthrope into a Divine Beast and achieving divinity to become a fully spiritual life form. Also, according to Rimuru, pre-evolution Carrion had the Calamity class threat level with an existence value of roughly 700,000, but with his awakening, Carrion was now at a disaster class, and his new existence value will be 2.7 million, although he still hasn't awakened an ultimate skill. That said, Carrion later followed Milim to an emergency Walpurgis called by Guy Crimson to discuss about the intentions of the Mana Smiker and Feltway. After the meeting, they returned to Eurazania to prepare for the upcoming war with Feltway, and because Obera had joined Milim's forces, Carrion was now part of Milim's own 4 Heavenly Kings. Additionally, the command structure of Milim's forces was reorganized as well, so Carrion became the general of her army, while his Beastmaster Brigade was renamed into the Flying Beast Knights, with Sophia serving as the leader and Phobia the second in command. But before the war started, Carrion was brought to Ramorous' Labyrinth to test his newfound strength, and he would challenge Benimaru. However, unlike their first encounter, this time Benimaru was the victor, although it was still a very close battle. After fighting Benimaru, Carrion challenged the Labyrinth as well, making his way to the 60th floor where he fought Endowment. And even though Carrion doesn't possess an ultimate level skill like Endowment, he still overpowered Endowment. This would also be where Carrion unveiled his newly developed skill Burst Roar, a particle cannon attack similar to Beast Roar, but instead of focusing the energy on his weapon, Carrion actually transformed his own body into pure living particles. In this particle form, his speed was comparable to Valgren's super speed attack. He continued down the labyrinth to fight Kumara, but her gravity domination prevented him from using Burst Roar effectively, so he decided to fight with his weapon. During the battle, Kumara was able to shatter Carrion's halberd, but he would turn the broken weapon shards into light particles, which manages to pierce Kumara from behind to defeat her. Unfortunately, his labyrinth run was ended when he faced Zagion, and before he could even turn into particles, Zagion utterly annihilated him with an instant kill. In any case, Eurazania will be the site of the battle between Milim and Rimuru's forces against the Insecta army of Zelenus. The signal to the start of the battle was when Milim's side realized that big flashy magical attacks were not effective on the Insectas, so Carrion proposed they fight head-to-head in a straightforward manner. Thus, everyone went into battle and Carrion will be engaging a Bard, a spider-type Insecta and one of the Insecta generals. In regards to their battle, due to the multiple limbs and unconventional fighting style of a Bard, Carrion found the encounter to be annoying, but he was still confident in winning. That's because Carrion was taking a more careful approach to the fight, observing and reading the movements of a Bard to find an opening as he wanted to defeat the enemy without exerting too much energy. His opening eventually arrived when Frey defeated Torun, and this caused a Bard to lose focus, so using Beast Roar, Carrion pierced a Bard's body and engulfed the Insecta in a flash of light. With that, Carrion proceeded to help Gopta and Ranga, who were struggling against the Insecta Queen Paliot, and they'll be joined by Frey as well. But sensing how dangerous Paliot was, he immediately uses Burst Roar, and even in a particle form, Paliot still manages to stop the kinetic energy of Carrion's attack by immobilizing him with her poisonous mist. Luckily, immediately Obera and Gelb would arrive to help, with Gelb providing healing to Carrion, although he was still severely injured. Now, even with the additional help, they were still struggling against Paliot, who was consistently getting stronger, but their teamwork did delay the battle long enough for Carrera to use a golden gun to defeat the Insecta Queen. And with Milim forcing Zelenus to retreat, they finally won the battle. However, before they could even celebrate, the White Ice Dragon Valzat will appear, freezing the entire battlefield, with only Carrion and those with existence value above 1 million being able to barely withstand the freezing aura, and also because Milim was shielding them. Now, sensing the hopelessness of the situation, Carrion along with his fellow Heavenly Kings were determined to die for Milim, so not wanting to be a hindrance to her, and ignoring her orders for them to escape, the 4 Heavenly Kings abandoned all their doubts and attacked Valzat, but ultimately they were turned into ice sculptures. This would cause Milim to go berserk, and having fallen under the control of Feltway, she wasn't able to save them, so Carrion and the others were left frozen for a majority of the war. Even in the latest volume 21 of the light novel, they were still frozen, although Tensura was heading over to Eurazania to try and free them, so maybe in the next volume, Carrion might be returning to fight once again.
お前が俺様の国を吹き飛ばしたのが原因だろうが、俺様たちを養う義務があるんだよ。
Anyways, that's everything on the Beast Master Carrion, his origins, powers and abilities, race and nation. And did you know that aside from Claimant, the author often uses Carrion as a standard of measurement for power levels as well? If you did not know about this or you learned something new about Carrion, be sure to let me know your opinions on this character in the comments down below. Also, if you enjoyed the video, remember to leave a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification button if you want more breakdowns like this in the future. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay safe everyone.